Welcome to Tiltyhouse. My name's Coriander Dickinson. I'm going to be here for a couple hours playing Kentucky Route Zero with the mouse and keyboard. So this is potentially the last Kentucky Route Zero, unless there's more chapters. We'll find out. And then Wednesday, I'm going to be around playing big televisions. I think that's what it's called, small radios, big televisions. And Friday I will be away for a couple weeks, so no stream on Friday from me. I'm gonna get right into the game. Let me know if I need to change any volume stuff. What? Sarah? No, on my end you have the sub badge. So at least part of the system's working. Alright, I'll sit here for a minute to let anyone else who hit a commercial make it through that. Let's hope that let's hope that Twitch manages to keep up today. And hi Sarah, and 4D Swiss Cheese, and Treon, and Tomasu82. Manual 5.4 context backlash. General wear on the gestural gear mounting apparatus 5A1 may result in the undesirable play between teeth in the context and history state machine gears, causing stuttering, slippage, resetting, skipping. Guess it could be slippage. If left unresolved, gear slop can gradually throw limbs out of alignment, blend motions, and decontextualize gestures. See also sections 1.8, General Troubleshooting, and 5.3, Gesture Context. Troubleshooting, okay. 1.8, General Troubleshooting. Technicians of sufficient talent and experience may skip this section. General troubleshooting techniques include hammering with something plastic until the stability becomes apparent, watching until the texture clears up, or asking a friend to share their insight. Maybe I ought to read it back to front. My savior, our friend here is in a bad way. Any insight? Time to put that mammoth out to pasture, Will. Oh, I feel certain she's got a few trips left in her. If only she had more capable surgeon. Sadly, mechanics are in short supply down here. I think the setting is too romantic. It scares them off. And what brings you down to the Echo tonight? Just hanging along. Huh, that doesn't sound like you. We dragged some folks to a show, just returning the favor. I'm sure your new friends appreciate the company. It's no shame to be lonesome. We picked you up at the bureau tonight. Never seen you that far upriver before. Hope that doesn't mean you've been traveling on the Zero. The bureau has great acoustics. You've got that right. Wow, I could sit in there for hours, just listen to my breath reverberate through that weird architecture. Still, it's always good to be back on the river. I've been traveling this river for more than half my life, more or less alone. I think I've seen it change quite a bit in all those years. but I can't say for sure. The water has a peculiar way of making a person forgetful. Some nights I remember a place, but it's full of strange new people. Some nights I meet an old friend on an unfamiliar shore. Wonder which kind of night this is. Crate. Nice little boat. How's that cold river spray treating you? Thought I saw you squinting. It's hard water, you know, hard on the eyes. Still irritates mine a little. I'm piloting a tugboat through it 6 nights a week. Don't be too shy to close them in public. Your eyes, I mean. People will just assume you're thoughtful. You need tea. Bay bully cap, then. It's in a little green box with a drawing of a moth on it. There's a jar of maitake under the table. Keep it cool and dark. Get a solid fingernail and let it steep with slippery elm 30 seconds. Throw it out the window. How far are we from Dogwood Drive? The echo is dicey tonight. Bad luck for you. Expect waves and diversions. Dogwood Drive is by the silo mail stop. We may need to spend some time there on the indirect route before we hit your stop, okay? Then there's other business. Mail to drop off, garbage to pick up, and a few favors to execute, all dotted on the riverbanks from here to there. Hope you enjoyed the trip on our little mammoth. Take advantage of all the amenities, fresh air, cozy bunks, hot tea, the video room. Some pretty interesting tapes down there, actually. Unusual, I mean. Weird. Watch out that VCR doesn't take your hand off, though. It's untrustworthy. What kind of weird tapes? It's one with this woman. She's just, like, standing there talking, but you can't really hear her. And there's this awful hum. See for yourself. It's down there somewhere. Do me a favor. Go ask Will how the repairs are going and if he needs anything. Coming up to the next stop here, just refueling and picking up a few things. I could grab a bolt or some wire or something. Whatever he needs. Well, eyes on the road. Haha. Well, thank you for dropping by. Zochsi. Zaforchi. 4 cheeses. Nice try there, Tryon. That kind of reads for, like as colander from here, rather than coriander. Or coriander. I like this cat. Oh, and there's Blue. Singing quietly. For we are mold and whiskey fed and blah 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 blah. Oh! Wet gears. Wet gears? Probably. Who knows? First thing I tried, anyway. Down here by this little blue box, took all the gears out and dried each by hand, and then I loaded them back in again. I took care of the grinding sound, but her trunk keeps doing that sparking, clanking, weeping thing. To be honest with you, I'm not really qualified for this work. Kate's a friend. You know how it is, don't you? Kate was asking if you needed anything when we stopped. Hell, I don't know. Scratch ticket. I think she meant, like, parts. I wouldn't know if I did. How do you and Kate know each other? So, Ever walked through rolling farmland? Sure, along the highway. Along the highway. That's what I mean. Or smaller roads. Well, I sure did. Slipped under and over fences, and I walked barefoot with the seeds when they were just planted and tilled the earth with my toes. Hey, I should tell you where I left my shoes. Did you know I'm classically trained organist? It's true. Look at these long fingers and pedal-gripping toes. Doesn't matter, a minor in French literature earned me a position teaching Artaud de Zola at the university. Well, some shitty governor cut state funding for our department, and I was demoted to mopping floors, running wiring through walls or in dangerous places. Even operated the soundboard at the student theater. Thank you for the sub, Thirsty Kitty. Cat sits on a boat. Metalwork is a moat. A year-long sub appears as a boom. No one mentioned the elephant in the boat. Happy 1 year. I left my shoes there at the university. It was a protest. Walk without shoes for something important or tragic. Ended up by the shore, and soon I was drifting along the Echo. It ran for a while above ground then. Doesn't anymore, but I prefer subterranean waters anyway. Kate brings me along, and I record what I see and hear. Try to help with the maintenance, drop off the mail, pick up the trash. On occasion, I take the helm. Anyway, that's all I try to remember anyway. Listen to the river stories, and my own stories get fainter and fainter. Well, I'll just keep drawing gears, I guess. Ezra runs up to Shannon. Whoa, slow down, it's slippery on deck. Do you have any batteries? Yeah, of course, what for? Johnny said I could use his tape recorder, but it needs a battery. Oh, fun, well. Shannon searches her pockets. Here's 4 different kinds. Surely one of these could fit. Thank you. Can I go inside? Yes, go inside. I'm Ezra now, I realize. Oh, ba-doop-a-doop-a-doop-a-doop. Wow. Okay. Dr. Conway. Hey. Hey. Figure out your life. Step down the steps. Child. Stairs. Go. Go. Get it. Fine. Musicians. Really? You were entranced. You don't remember this? That's okay. We've all seen a lot of concerts. Cyrano opened. His tape machine was broken or something. It got really cosmic. Right. At the flower shop. I remember that show. Sorry, Clara. Well, you have a second chance to hear it tonight. That was fast. Got the batteries? Let's see. Perfect. This'll do. So you hit this button here to record, hold it right here so you don't cover the microphone with your hand. But you'll find a lot of good sounds just around the tugboat. Plenty of tape in there, so don't be stingy with it. Just record anything that catches your ear. It really changes the way you listen. For the better, I mean. Are you playing a concert tonight? I could record that. Yeah, Clara here came all the way from Lithuania just to do this Echo River gag. Haha, it's a tour. Tomorrow I'll be in Nashville, and then Atlanta, and then over to the coast. Brutal. Well, we're lucky she's making a stop. Johnny and I saw her play once, and I remember loving it. Johnny was moved. Speaking of Cyrano, it's his night at the Rum Colony. Kate said she usually stops off there. Well, that's ideal. Supposed to meet a lady there to look at some old engine parts about 3 hours ago. 3 hours goes fast at the Rum Colony, ma'am. Bet she's still there. Hope we don't stop there too long. My concert is soon. I don't want to keep them waiting. Nah, it's river time. Nobody expects you to be punctual. Hey, why don't you give that tape recorder a try? See if that cat over there has anything he wants to say. I often use found sounds in my music. If you find some interesting sounds tonight, you can help me out. Cat. I don't remember Conway missing an arm. Oh. You know, it's the strangest thing. Can't remember why I came up here. Maybe you should slow down. Nah, I'm good. It's just the thing about... When was it? When you walk through a door? When you go into the kitchen for something, and as soon as you pass from one room into another, you forget what you wanted? I have to walk back just to remember. Like you left a part of your brain behind. Hey, I wonder if I could follow that brain crumb trail all the way back to the room I was born in. Conway cranes his neck over the railing. You were driving for hours. Get any sleep? I had a weird dream. Yeah, that's when you get the strangest dreams. When you nod off, right? Just kind of dip your toes into sleep. Some weird image floats by and takes a nibble. Shannon leans over the railing and looks at the river below. It's all kind of trash down there. Could have fallen off the hall back there. I think that kid was playing on the trash barge earlier. He seems to keep himself entertained. What am I drinking? Coffee. And water. And Treyon, on Thursday, I'm going to be doing a New Day Tuesday. With Gris or Gree. So from there, maybe it'd be worth taking on to Talking Sim. I don't want to play games for the first time on Talking Sim. Like, it's more useful to already have kind of a foundation so that you can actually, like, process information without having to pay total attention to the game. It's good for him. It's important to know how to be alone. What's up, huh? You look like there's something you want to ask. Fine, you can ask it. One question. Do you really have to go work at hard times? Didn't seem so bad, did it? It's a way to live. I mean, rent a bed, eat at the cafeteria. I think you do have a choice. Gotta repay my debt. Hell, I should be grateful for the opportunity. If you want to die with any dignity, you gotta settle up. That's why it's such a damn shame when people go sudden. Sure, I talk too much. Everyone on this river does. Problem is that we listen twice as much as that. We're only telling you half the stories we hear. Kate told me I ought to have been a photographer. She said, you have an uncanny way of having been in the place at the time the thing happened there. That's the hardest part of taking a photograph anyway. Nice of her to say, but it isn't true. Though I know just about every story on this river, most of them I picked up second, third, fourth hand, so on. Listening, see? Now, I know what you're going to ask, so I'm going to answer it. Yes, I'm sure they're all true. I personally believe a story gets more true as it's tossed around from brain to brain and the whole community brings their insight to bear on the brittle facts of experience. There are a few Echo River stories I witnessed directly. I saw that big owl migration pass through. You might have heard about that. I was there when the old train station flooded. I saw the ghost of Stephen Bishop brew up a batch of white lightning on a raft. Or anyway, I talked to a few sailors who'd recently crossed paths with him, and I suspect sampled his wares. One night when I was working on the Monkey Mammoth, we picked up a gaggle of passengers heading down to the mail drop by the Silo of Late Reflections. Knew a couple of them in passing, a pair of traveling musicians, whom I often encountered on the river. The others were strangers to me at the time. A young woman, small boy, an old man whose name I didn't catch. Oh, and a smelly old dog. We docked at a gas station so the Mammoth could refuel. Ezra followed Junebug and Johnny to the gas station. A gas station. Definitely gas. We cut it close. Usually find this place upriver. Everybody's on the lake tonight. The gas station moves around? Sure. It's not anchored or anything. Could be anywhere up and down the Echo. Just kind of run into it when you need to. Need it, or hopefully a little before you need it. Usually stop here once a night. Though, to be honest, I'm not sure it's even the same one. Doesn't have a name or anything, and I never really pay attention to who's behind the counter. Anyway, it's nice to see you two. Most of my regular passengers must have gotten held up elsewhere in their journey tonight. It's that storm, I think. Watching Ezra sprint past. Look at him go! That kid has a lot of energy. It's gotta be past his bedtime or something, right? I don't think he has a bedtime. He's a maverick. Sounds familiar. You don't have any of your own... I mean, no, I guess not. Just realized you two come through here often enough. We chat about all kinds of things, and I never thought to ask about family. Who has the time? Yeah, sure. You gotta prioritize. So, how about that storm upstairs? Did you two get caught in it? Heard it kind of roamed around, uncertain. I'm sure we'll hear about it tomorrow. Flooding, property damage, probably killed a few tomatoes. It's got the river churning and everyone head to the lake here, where the water's calmer. I myself don't mind navigating a choppy river. Not at all. I've got a good feel for it. Plus, it's better for fungal growth. High water consumes the cave moths, and their wet wings clump together into these little balls of nutrient-dense mushroom food, jammed by current here and there between the rocks. You have never seen a mushroom grow like on a soggy cave moth carcass. Yeah, that's true. Amazing. If I could get a day off, Val and I would be out there all day tomorrow to harvest. I mean it. They'll be ready by tomorrow. A mushroom will grow just as fast as you can pump water into it. Hey, are you two headed out this way tomorrow? Maybe I could send Val ashore with you for a few hours. She got a remarkable nose for mushrooms and wouldn't even need to know what to look for. Put a bag around her neck and she'll just bring them back to you. Yeah. We don't know where we'll be tomorrow. I should have figured. Seems you two are always on the move. It does seem that way. Silence. So... I should get back aboard. No rush. Just want to brew some tea before we get underway. Headed into the station? Thought I'd grab some black coffee for the old man. He's looking a bit waterlogged. Sure. Don't want him falling asleep on you. Nah, he'll be alright. Seems like the type who can hold his liquor. Seems like he has a little experience, I mean. Hey, while you're in there, could you remind the gas station attendant this fuel is on my tab, charged to the Mucky Mammoth? Oh, and Will wanted a scratch ticket. Thanks. To Junebug. Think I'll just watch the lake for a bit, ma'am. Inside. Attendant. Looking for crystals? I need a scratch ticket. What kind? Junebug examines the lottery display case. Ooh. The one with the grassy field on it. Money minefield, okay. Anything else? Snacks. Sure, we have snacks. We have, how about some jerky? It's homemade. Not by me. Work on the mammoth? I can add it to your tab. Oh, you know the tugboat? Captain Kate said I'd have to remind you. Sure, they're here every night. It's okay, I have one of those faces. Forgettable. It's not... The noise is not a low-flying aircraft or, vehicle. It is someone above me drilling into something connected to a wall. And it goes... The noise just goes everywhere. Just like from above. Does it bother you? I've learned to cherish it. There's dignity in being forgotten, letting the crowd flow around you unspoiled. Used to live in a city, a real city, Cleveland, Ohio. Had some family money then and didn't have to work. Lived in hotels. In daylight I walked wherever the people were. My only duty was to the crowd. I was its observer, its historian, its detective, its poet. Well, the money ran out, and I dispersed with the rest of them. Took my duties with me here to Lake Leith on the Echo River. I live behind this counter, anonymous, invisible, but I live with dignity. I like this little raft dealy happening. And yourself? No, I don't think so. I don't blend in. Not so easy to forget, I'd say. I see now that you're right. Well, that's yours to bear then. Snacks are in the back there. Norm. Shit, that floodwater washed you halfway up out to the sea. I was looking for you down by New Königsberg, same as usual, but it ain't nobody there. The river's deep as an elephant's. Noticing Junebug. Oh, I didn't see you there, ma'am. Pardon my language. What elephant? Haha, alright. You're no paper flower, I see that. Extending his hand warmly. Expect you must be Loretta. Enchanted to meet you. Sorry I'm late. Hey, is that coming on to flowery or something? Enchanted? Repeating it now, I feel a little bit silly. Enchanted does sound pretty old-fashioned. Is that the kind of gal Loretta is? Guess I don't know. Now I'm double embarrassed. Do I look like her? To be truthful, I couldn't tell you. I met Loretta on the computer. We met each other there, or I guess we spoke through the computer and agreed to meet. I don't know the terminology. Haven't dated in quite a while. Back when I met Greta, that's my wife, my ex, or maybe I'm her ex? I don't know how to say it. Anyway, back then there wasn't such a thing as computers at all. I guess there probably was, but I never heard of one. I worked in textiles. So, here I am. So what's your plan when Loretta shows up? Oh, maybe head down to the rum colony. Shoot, I forgot to ask if she likes to drink. You really never know these days. I guess first I'd ask her about that. If she doesn't like rum, I'd try to take her by the Bat Sanctuary. That's pretty romantic in a sense. Like misty valleys and ruined churches romantic, not like flowers and chocolates romantic. Of course, they got that memorial over there. That's a little depressing, actually. Maybe we'd kind of sail around that. Damn it all, I guess I'll probably just miss her. I wonder if she'll agree to meet again. I'm sure she'll understand with the weather and all. Nice of you to say so. Well, guess I'll head on back. Hey, supposing Loretta doesn't want to see me after all. I'm out of your league. Ha! I won't argue about that. Actually, I wanted to ask you for some advice. I had to type up a short autobiography for the computer date, and I spent a lot of time on it, but I only got one reply, and that was Loretta herself. I was happy to meet her, but supposing she's lost interest now. Do you think you could maybe give me some feedback? It's only a paragraph or so. Have it all memorized, spent so damn long writing it. Okay, here's how it goes. I'm a good-natured man, retired, spend most of my time sailing the Echo River, riding currents and subterranean gas, and that strange invisible wind that moans out of the small tunnels along the bank. Seeking a companion to map the river with me. I have 2 grown children, but they live far away. No goofballs. Okay, what do you think? You'll be fine. Well, alright then. Sounds like I'm ready to get back on the computer. Have a good night. Now, what's left of it anyway? Have a good night, Treyon. Mushroom hunting, huh? Weird cave fungus growing on soggy moth wings. Sounds kind of romantic, but also kind of gross, right? So, would you like to ride with us for a day? I bet you would. We're good company. Maybe we can still talk her into it. Eyeball. Snacks? Junebug surveys a row of chocolates, licorices, cheese crackers, dehydrated, bleached, reconstituted, and colorized. Johnny seems distant. Excited about Kate's dog, too. Bag in the bottom shelf is decorated with cartoonish pictures of vegetables. Through a plastic window in the packaging, she can see puffed corn-shaped and colored like carrots, tomatoes, and broccoli florets with a few puffy white discs that might represent potatoes. What would it be like to travel with one more? Somewhere in there is surely a preservative. In case the rest of the process hasn't done enough to stop the flow of time, she turns the package over to examine the ingredients. Maybe best to just ask him what's on his mind. Turns the bag over and looks for the ingredients, but only finds a marketing blurb. Inspired by real vegetables. I've been there. Eating a food stuff that is technically inspired by food. Sorry, Cricket. Nothing good on offer. Not even those little gummy pomegranate seeds. I didn't look. It's okay. I'll go check. Wish me luck. Good luck. Boop boop. Me. Do you carry those little gummy pomegranate seeds? I had 3 boxes at the beginning of this week and they're all gone. Can't keep them on the shelves. To be honest, our whole inventory is pretty low right now. There's a delivery boat that usually swings by earlier in the night, but I guess something came up. Where are you headed? Just following Junebug. She was in here a minute ago. Okay, yeah, I had a feeling you two might be traveling together. I never travel, but I do love travelers. That's what I like about this job. Travelers come to me. Meet some interesting people? I wouldn't say I meet them, but I do sell them gas. Well, let me know if I can help you find anything. Let's talk to Al. I don't know if I can summon that level of exuberance. Glory, it is good to be among friends. Suit yourself. Wow, I should take a page out of your book, man. I'd give you any advice I could, little guy, but I think the most important thing I can say is, Glory, it is good to be among friends. Okay, I'll see what I can do with that. It's a ritual of remembrance for me. Tonight, particularly so. It's my birthday. I'm 5 years old. Do you know why I say that? Well, I'm gonna tell you. 5 years and some days ago, I set out on the Echo River alone, or so I thought at the time. I was looking for an ice floe that are usually rumored to travel our humble artery on their way from who knows where to who knows where, who knows why. It's a mystery. An hour into the journey, my lantern gave out. Now, I always carry 3 or 4 spares. You'll never catch me in the dark again. Lesson learned, buddy. But that night, when the lantern went out, I was stuck in the dark. Kept my arm extended, running my fingers along the cave wall, trying to keep my bearings as best as I could. at least make sure I wasn't going in circles. Just prayed I'd find another traveler who knew his way back to the lake or above ground, or even just a crack in the rock to get a glimpse of moonlight. Had a large bag of apples with me. After a long while, maybe a day, I was getting weak, so I took my hand down from the rock to tear the bag open. Well, when I reached back out, I couldn't find that cave wall anymore, or any other. I was totally unmoored, buddy. Totally adrift. It was so dark. Started counting the time in apples eaten. Drifted in despair for 4 apples. Then I schemed and planned and dreamed for 2 apples. Finally, I came to accept my fate, lost at sea. And this phase, I think, would have continued indefinitely had I not come down to that very last damn apple. Picture me, feeling around in the empty bag, certain that somehow there was another one of those fist-sized chunks of life-given fruit, already softened by time and probably an unappetizing brown. Nope, that was it. Just as I was about to bite into my last meal, I felt a tickle on my upper lip. It hatched, right then. Couldn't have been a moment later or I would have eaten it. My last apple was infested by damn fruit fly maggot. Well, that should have been the end of it. I should have eaten that apple, that fly, while I was at it, and put an end to our little food chain suicide pact, and I waited out of mercy. After all, this fly was basically a newborn child, right? Gross insect child, but still a child, right? Born into darkness and famine, hungry and alone. I mean, can you imagine that? No other flies out there on the boat, never would be. No other flies to welcome him into the world. I mean, no fly culture, no fly society, no fly history. A true orphan. Started to get depressed just thinking about it all. Worked out a thick tear, not ashamed to say. Well, that fly landed on my cheek, right under my left eye, right on that salty teardrop, and then, blinding glory, his ass lit up like a candle. That wasn't a fly, buddy, it was a damn lightning bug. So, that's how I came to be here today with you folks. Only because I found my way out of that strange river cave by the dim-lit rear of some orphan insect hatched out of my last rotten apple. Glory, it is good to be among friends. Goodbye. Strange apple man. Big plans for the night. Yes, I think we'll just see where the river goes, and at what pace. You look like you got that figured out already, Val. That guy's a trip. Gas station attendant. Did you talk to him? It's funny. He actually reminds me of that frog we had for a bit. That frog you had. Oh, I like to think he was part of the family, you know. Okay, so how does that gas station attendant remind you of a frog? Oh, I don't know. 'Cause he liked to talk, I guess. Maybe we could pick up another one. A frog, or a cat, or an iguana or something. Feeling lonely, Cricket? Not exactly. Not like that guy in the gas station. That guy lets the world wash over him, static like a rock. But you and me both, together, I mean, we're always moving, always changing. I think it's because we feel safe with each other, you know? Free. We can try stuff out, change our clothes, swap parts around, just play. I'm not lonely, just curious. With another person to play with, what else could we be? You may be right, Cricket. You really think so? Wow. Thought I'd have to wear you down a little like I did with the gerbils. Oh, that's Kate. Time to hit the road. River, I mean. The road river. See that small brick building? Used to be an upholstery shop. Now it's inhabited by a very skilled taxidermist whose art is greatly in demand. When it was an upholstery shop, it didn't see nearly as much business. The old shop's name has been lost to time and weather. This was decades ago. The only trace of it now is the grayed frame of an old sign behind the new lettering, which now reads Trapper, Stalker, and Sportsman. Then below, smaller, no specimen is too exotic, no arrangement too fanciful. Some of the upholstery equipment is still there, too. Still sees active use. Elise is the resident artist, though she's not the owner of the shop. It's owned by her aunt, Ida. Ida has very little to do with the day-to-day. She's busy with her other endeavors, mostly the restaurant she and her husband run on Lake Leith. Or Leth. Oh, do I want to see the rum colony or do I want to see the strange videos? Oh, this is difficult. Videos. Cat. Let's see what happens if I start a new video. Search. Shelves are full of dusty tapes. Some have been relabeled several times, the stickers piling up thick on their spines. Birds. Watch birds. Blue-black morning swings across the screen. The birdwatcher tramps through the dewy grass. He stops with a wet grunt and rests the camera on a pile of rocks. Birds from Great Distances, Episode 12, appears briefly on the screen. He twists the lens by hand, pushing the frame past trees onto the road and coming to a halt zoomed in on a fuzzy, fist-sized artifact resting on the momentary stroke of a telephone wire. Shannon and the birdwatcher observe. He breathes heavily and she holds her breath, like she's afraid he might hear, afraid of distracting him or being discovered and contaminating his perfect isolation. Traffic picks up, indifferent. As the sky lightens, the black smudge in the center of the frame gradually becomes more prominent, but never in any greater detail. Not bad. More birds. It's raining heavily as the title Birds from Great Distances, Episode 27, flashes on the screen. She knows by the sound, the volley of rainwater on mud, tree branches, the rusted bed of an old pickup, and the birdwatcher's own skin and hair. He swears under his breath. She can hear the rain there too, in his wet breath and the wet exclamation of his palms slopping the water from his forehead and shoulders. The camera is pointed at a cedar shed with one hinged door angling erratically in the storm. From this distance, it's hard to tell if it's been damaged or simply left open. When the door swings wide, she can see the shed is full of small boards, scraps maybe, or rough-cut pieces meant for very small projects, and stacked carelessly on shelves and piles, quickly sorted and then forgotten. There's the bird. A blue ball taking shelter on the shed floor, nested in scrap wood. Come on, mono birds. Yes! The video is black. Shannon only knows it's playing because of the cicadas, and then Birds from Great Distances, episode 81. The screen isn't totally dark, of course. It's what she thinks of as video black, a deep mottled blue, noisy with magnetic decay and cottony limits of the camera's sensors. It's the black she sees before she goes to sleep, the night black, the eyes shut against the streetlight's black. She has more words for it than she expected. She wonders what words the birdwatcher uses for it. She wonders where he is relative to the camera and where the bird is, for that matter. Enough! Birds? I feel like I have been cheated out of birds. There are clearly 81 distinct tapes of birds. That awful hum seems to start before Shannon even hits play. Then there's the familiar room. There are the blank gray walls marked with tape and school desks, and this time she notices a few more details. The murky carpet like standing water, some video equipment stashed in the corner, a row of lockers. And there's Weaver, looking serenely at the camera. As before, she starts speaking, and as before, there's no sound but that hum. Shannon finds Weaver's words coming back to her as they appear in captions on the screen. Mail, school, and these magnificent tragic horses. Go underground as deep as you can go. The air is cool, the earth is damp, and when you close your eyes, you are surrounded by the dead. Remember where that is? You'll find your way from there. I think this place is what you're looking for. Some of it will wash away soon, but I think you'll be happy here, even without the mail. School. The text repeats for a few minutes, and Shannon stops the tape. Eject. Return. Search. Browse. Shelves are full of dusty tapes. Funeral thing. An elderly couple sit on folding chairs in the middle of a TV studio, undecorated except for a funeral lily and a thin blue vase on the table. The lights are a bit too dim to make out their features. She reads from a newspaper with unhurried efficiency. Gloria B. of Munfordville passed away on Monday at her residence. Survivors include her children, Dakota, Montana, Minnesota, and Bobby, all of Munfordville. A memorial service will be held at 7 p.m. Thursday at Hatton Huffman Funeral Home in Munfordville, with cremation to follow. She never knew Gloria. He thinks he may have heard the name, wondering aloud if she ever worked at a cafe down there in Munfordville. The woman who ran that place was once called Gloria, or maybe still is. They take a call, someone who knew Gloria B., if not very well. The caller once installed a satellite dish at Gloria's house, a 900 square foot ranch-style home on 2 acres at a dead end backed by weeds and pine. When the caller mounted the ladder up Gloria's roof, she slid open her window and tugged urgently at his pant leg. He followed his gaze behind the house where 2 wild turkeys picking through the weeds. Gloria and the caller watched silently and still as huge birds foraged obliviously into the trees. And then he installed the satellite dish. Yeah, I would count that one as a bird tape. It was a bird at a distance. Ooh, art thing. No, I want to see weather. What kind of track his weather? The on-screen titles identify this program as The History of Weather, Volume 3, Drought. Over footage of a dry riverbed, the program's narrator explains the differences between modern drought and ancient drought. The narrator proposes that modern drought may hardly be considered weather at all, since its severity and behavior are so influenced by human activity. Boring indeed. No one wants to hear that right now. What you got? What you got? What you got? Oh, science! Now we're getting somewhere. Looks like Will, though much younger, reclined on his sofa and taking calls. His arm draped over the back of the couch holds a bottle of something clear. People call in with stories of their encounters with the supernatural. Will offers little commentary or response. He acknowledges them. Sometimes he interrupts to clarify or repeat something back to them. Mostly he just listens and pulls from that clear glass bottle. A handmade banner strung above the couch reads, "I believe you." Will? Ooh, shopping. Get some commerce on. A woman sits at a card table with a lamp, notepad, and a beige multi-line telephone. Scrolling marquee reads, "Swap, shop, buy, sell, trade, or want to buy, call the broker." And then a phone number repeated without pause. Eddie has fresh eggs to trade for a basil plant, dozen eggs for one plant, which is a steal. Eddie's eggs are good eggs. Sadie has a bag of fine shells. No reasonable offer will be refused. Christopher is looking for a scrub plane in decent shape. Doesn't have to be too nice, just something to get a tabletop near to flat from some oak that's been air drying in a barn for 20, maybe 30 years. While it's true he could get the job done without it, since he's got a nice heavy jack plane his grandfather used to use, he'd just as soon not fuss with grinding a camber into it. And anyway, he has a little extra capital from a swap earlier in the week and wouldn't mind putting it down on a decent scrub plane before the cash burns a hole through his pocket. Carla is looking to trade typing services for calligraphy services, or vice versa. The broker takes notes and switches lines but never speaks, drunk on the hum of commerce. Fun. Guess art thing is where we're going next. At first she thinks the video might be paused, but on closer inspection she can see the edges of the frame shrinking inwards around the chairs, desk, and loose gray furniture of a sterile waiting room. She watches for a while. She's not sure how long. Several minutes. The zoom tightens, so gradually she sometimes forgets it's happening at all, finally rests on an oscillating desk fan. She ejects the tape before the next part of the triptych begins. Anything left? Trivia. No, get me my trivia. There we go. The words "tip of your tongue" and a phone number are occasionally superimposed on the screen. A few dozen people sit in bleachers, shouting out ideas, loosely moderated by a short woman with a microphone and a laser pointer. One caller is trying to remember the name of an old friend she hasn't seen in years. Starts with a consonant. It's full of consonants, actually. There may be one or two vowels. It sounds long, but she doesn't remember having had any trouble spelling it at any point. The friend had brown hair? That's probably not helpful. Another caller is trying to remember a verb that means to make oneself vulnerable. Something like to expose oneself, but not quite that. To become emotionally, spiritually vulnerable, like with a lover or a poem. A third caller just knows there was something he was supposed to do tonight. He offers some biographical background, a narrative of his day. He's unemployed, has no real hobbies, and has already eaten. A few ideas from the bleachers. Lordy. No, I keep it. It stays in my hand. Ha ha ha. Doop, 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 doop. Doop, doop, doop. No, it was only a few notes. Slow and sad like funeral music, you know. I don't remember it being sad, just simple and unburdened. Maybe that's what funeral music sounds like to me, unburdened. Oh, hello. Kate and I were just trying to remember that mammoth song. Neither of us have heard it for years. Will just found the mechanism. In the mammoth's belly, hidden in gritty, matted fur. Ha! It's like a big music box, a slowly spinning cylinder covered in metal pins that pluck her dulcet guts and pump the bellows of her bowels. Some of the pins are rusty and worn away. Easy to replace if we can ever remember what notes were. Did I hear you browsing the archive next door? Find anything good? I found something pretty unsettling, actually. Oh dear, I don't even know what's on half of those tapes anymore. Used to be all movies and that kind of stuff. I like nature documentaries especially. Some people left home movies or little art videos they'd made, but that damn VCR devours anything you leave in it. It just switches into record mode at random, I think, and picks up whatever's coming in over the antenna. Of course, the only station we get down here is that WEVP, community television, you know. We got that show with the gentleman playing banjo in his birthday suit. Sure you've seen it. Oh yes. And if there's no tape in the machine, when it tries to start recording, it makes this awful sound, like putting a squeaky toy in a food processor. You can hear it above deck. Awful. That's why I put the sign up. Please do not rewind after watching. At least that way nothing gets taped over anymore. To Will. You were in one of these videos. I believe you, it said. Where was that taped? You had a TV show? I never knew. No, I don't believe I ever have. Title sounds familiar, but more like it's something I heard about, like secondhand information. They let anybody on there. That's the whole idea. Community television, public access, they call it. I would say it's possible that I did the show you saw and then forgot. Wouldn't be the first time. The studio... No, I can't say that I remember where WEP is. You should meet Dashiell. He did a lot of volunteer work for WEVP in the early days, wiring up antennas and relays, stuff like that. I think you two would have a lot to talk about. Works at the telephone exchange. No, I'm afraid he's been let go. Oh yeah? That's odd. He still takes the ferry to work every day. I'm sure he's at the telephone exchange right now. In fact, I dropped him there a few hours ago. We're stopping at the telephone exchange again shortly to deliver their mail and pick up their trash. You should go ashore when we do. Ask for Dashiell. I have no idea what the resolution of this game's story is. I rarely miss a chance to lounge on the beach around the rum colony. Do enjoy a drink, though I don't find their signature liquor suits me, but this time I like to just stay aboard and shoot the breeze with Kate over some mineral water. Still, I heard reports. Ezra told me about the dark corners. See, that beach is lit by a congregation of amber torches stuck in the sand. They mix the torch fuel with citronella oil, keeps the bugs away, which keeps the bats away. But the light doesn't fall very far from the flame. The rest is shadows and sandy echoes, but that's the part Ezra wanted to tell me about. He said he found a treasure. I knew better than to pry. Oh, if we're talking about the rum colony, I should tell you about Patch. He's the bartender, general manager, creative director. I guess that means that he books the music. He's pretty much run the place for the last 7 years. A lot of folks assume he owns it, but that's not the case. The rum colony is owned by a dead man named Vernon. Technically, it would be owned by the power company who once bought a sizable interest from Vernon as part of a state-sponsored investment program. But a clause in that arrangement requires them to keep their hands off the day-to-day. Most of the profits, so long as Vernon walks this earth. The upshot of all that is that nobody came forth to identify the body. Patch is a good guy, though. Kind, trustworthy. He mixes a strong Mai Tai if that's your thing. Hello there. Clara, Kate, and I stopped to do some business by telephone. Guess we're gonna be here for a minute. Looks like they have a few calls to make. What are we going to do? Yeah, that's a good question. Just thought I'd stretch my legs, on firm ground. Didn't realize this place would be floating on barrels. Back when I was driving long hauls, that's the real big trucks now, sometimes I wouldn't leave the cab but to pump some gas. Took my meals in there, slept in there, changed my socks in there, the whole thing. So one time I was hauling a bunch of big spools, telephone wire, I think actually, up from California into Washington State. You know where that is? It's way out on the map. It's kind of on the left of here, more or less. In between California and Washington, there's a place called Oregon. You can't pump your own gas there. They have a guy who does it called a gas jockey. You'd better not even open your door and they get all suspicious. Drove through California into Washington and I refueled in the middle in Oregon, so I didn't set foot out of my truck for a whole day. When I came out of that cab, the ground rushed up like it missed me. Gave me a big old kiss right on the chin, right here. What I'm saying is, hell, I forget. What am I talking about? You can't pump your own gas in Oregon. Exactly. Don't forget that. Don't say I never taught you anything. Well, I guess I'll head back aboard. Might see if I can find any of the good stuff stashed maybe in the spice cabinet? Maybe in the medicine cabinet. That's where it belongs. Hell, who am I talking to? Don't listen to me, kid. I'll see you in a few. Goodbye. He just... Hey, thanks for the bits. ZO4CHCE. Boop. Didn't seem like anything important there. Don't you go diving in too. It's actually really cold. Kind of dangerous. Did he say where he was going? He went to get some medicine. Oh, maybe his leg is still bothering him. Or an early hangover. I have to tell him I have some more painkillers in the truck. So, any important messages? Every single one. Where are you headed tonight, small man? I'm just looking for my family. Well, looking for a new family or a family you lost track of? My folks disappeared. We met Ezra earlier tonight, and he's been very helpful. I'm hoping we can return the favor once we get back above ground. Poor kid is sleeping at a bus station, just lost track of his folks. He'll be all right. He's more at home down here than any of us. Trust me, I have an eye for it. Kate, thanks for calling. How are you feeling? Pregnant. I couldn't get settled in bed, so I was just watching TV, some cooking show about high-concept junk food, and everyone from my high school chemistry class was there, making cupcakes out of old bicycle parts. I think I might have dozed off a bit, actually. Honestly, this baby can come out whenever he wants. I'm completely over it. Good for you. You sound really confident. Oh, it's all an act. I'm actually... The phone line makes a horrible sound. Wow, God, the phones down here are such a mess. Hey, Kate, I really appreciate you checking in. I have your pager number, and so does Eric, just in case I'm too, distracted or whatever. I'll let you go. I should try to eat something. Munch on a bitter hedgehog cap. That should relieve some of your intestinal discomfort. Okay, thanks. Maybe I'll just chew on some ice. Talk to you soon, Kate. Hopefully. Just checking in on a client. Did I mention I'm a birth doula? Wow, how does that fit with being a tugboat captain? Some women choose to come labor on the boat, actually. For the rest, I have a backup, just in case I can't get back to dry land in time. I've been lucky, only had to lean on her a handful of times, out of several hundred births. You'd never believe how many people are just born. All the time. Is everything okay? Everything's great. Sounds like she's ready. Some women just know. It's amazing. Others are caught totally by surprise. Your friend went back aboard? His leg is bothering him. Yeah, I thought he seemed a little pained, especially when he moved. Who you calling? Glad you phoned. I was just thinking of you. Sorry I didn't call this week. I've been traveling constantly. That's fine. I visited the hospital yesterday. Went to visit Uncle Andreas, but they moved him. Now he's in a hospice care facility run by an old Polish nun. Everyone says it's very nice. Asked them about visiting, and they said he didn't want any visitors. That's his right. Guess it is, technically. Clara, I don't think it's really what he wants. If you came to visit, he would see you. All those afternoons, you two would go drinking beers by the river. Don't you think it would mean a lot to him if he could say goodbye to you in person? Oh, Nadja, I'd never make it back in time anyway. It's true. You're a long way from home, Clara. I suppose it can't be helped. Oh, here's Mother at the door. We're going to try again to see him. Hope the tour is going well. Love you. Be careful. My sister back home. She's very depressing to me this morning. My Uncle Andreas is terminally ill and refusing visitors, and Nadia's making a stir about it. Sorry to hear. Are you close? Yes, but only recently. He lived abroad for most of my life. I only met him a few years ago. My sister is older, so she knew him as a child, too. I think her respect for him is distorted by sentiment. We must always take the dying at their word. Their motivations are beyond our understanding. The older man, he's swimming back to the Mammoth. No emergency, I hope. Best for him not to move around too much. I see. Well, let him be a little lazy. He's old and it's very late at night. Brandon approaches. I don't suppose any of you folks are heading past the Bureau of Reclaimed Spaces? Can't get a hold of your ride? Yeah, my mom usually picks me up from work, but I got wrapped up in this card game and didn't call her in time. Hitched a ride this far, but... Yikes, stranded? It's no big deal. Just hang out and read or something until it's time to head back to work. Hey, you folks are traveling with that old guy, right? With the leg? Is he okay? Saw him earlier tonight. Came by the storage facility for some files. Totally bit it on the staircase. He's okay though, right? I think so. I don't know him too well. He's a passenger. Cool. Hey, I guess he's well enough to swim. Well, have a good night. Or, morning almost. Anything else? Nope. Scene over. Carry on. That right there is Ratliff Monuments, if you ever need a headstone carved for a loved one, I mean. Violet Ratliff, never married, nevertheless bore 6 children. Earl, Kelly, Barb, Ron, young Earl, and Beauty. For each birth, she locked the doors of the Ratliff Monuments for only one day, even with young Earl, when she was in labor for 36 hours. Well, that's what folks said, and I met her, and I believed them. She had the unyielding disposition of a cliffside. None of Violet's children had any desire to go into monument making. Beauty thought it all a bit ghoulish. There's some truth to that. Very little demand for monuments to the living, after all. Run of the shop fell at last to young Earl, the only Ratliff still at home when his mother finally passed at 82, and who then had the honor of engraving her headstone. He's done well, for the most part. The shop was damaged in a flood several years ago. The showcase, a mock cemetery out front, was mostly washed away. Stone monuments bobbing violently in the first torrents of the flood eventually sank and spread along the channel bottom downriver, an elongated graveyard for no human loss, visited by eyeless fish and adorned with indifferent wreaths of algae. If a few stray stones ended up at the bottom of the Lake Leith, too, we'll never know. Young Earl is the last of his short line professionally, and there's nobody around qualified to carve his monument, so he's already claimed one of those at the bottom of the river for himself. Fair. Ezra taught us a card game. I don't need no quick cash. Clara draws a card. 3 deep breaths, 8 white doves, 5 slow hours. Kate draws a card. 7 blue petals, 3 deep breaths, 8 white doves, 5 slow hours. What are we listening to? Oh, just this tape a friend of mine sent me. They live in the desert. The Sinks? Something like that? Sounds good on Mammoth's PA. Yeah, that's the only way to listen to anything lately. Haha. Your turn, buddy. Ezra draws a card. Ba-ba-ba-ba. Nine great feathers, 7 blue petals, 3 white doves, 8 deep breaths, 5 slow hours. Oh no, it was 7, 3, 8. Ah, you're beating at your own game, haha. I'm just glad it didn't come to my turn again. You took a bullet there, my friend. It's a hard game, that's why I like it. And we're only, how many cards in now? 5 or something? I assume it'll go to 52. It goes until everyone forgets a card. That could go on a long time then. Well, not with this crowd, I guess. Haha. We're all too soggy-brained. I know I am. I even take homemade supplements for it. Shade-grown lichen boiled with the peel of lemon, then frozen and crushed with oak leaves. It's a scalp massage oil. You can smell it if you get close. It dries the brain out a bit, which is helpful for a good memory, if I can remember to use it often enough in the first place. Oh, don't worry, the soggy brain has its benefits too. If your brain is soft and damp, new ideas can make a clear impression, like a boot in wet sand. But like wet sand, it can easily get muddied and washed away, so there's a trade-off, see? It's a shame we can't have it both ways, isn't it? What's this game called, Ezra? Forgetting game. Kate likes to give her passengers the opportunity to make some floating around money, and that lab pays cash in small envelopes upon completion of their little gauntlet of non-invasive tests. It's a project of the university. I think they're studying... I don't remember. The mammoth also collects their trash, mostly shredded paper, though Kate says once they left half a vending machine on the dock. Nobody seemed too interested in the lab stop that night. They stayed aboard and played a card game. I read a book. Let me tell you about it. It's set in a small town in the Pacific Northwest. The town is never named, but it's colorfully described. Woolly, fog, broken, coastline, provincial, shopkeepers. Main characters are mail carriers. They're co-workers, Mimi and Jen. Mimi is older than Jen, but they seem to be at the same point in their lives. They like their work. They have a playfully antagonistic relationship with their boss. I actually only read a bit from the middle. Mimi confides in her friend about a traumatic event from her past. Don't know what the event was exactly. I guess I would know if I started at the beginning like a writer probably meant me to, but I've never found that way of reading suited me very well. Death of a loved one, I think. Something like that. In my life's work on as Echo River's premier anecdotalist, I've always found that a carefully excerpted moment is more powerful than any epic history. That's my excuse anyway, for reading books from the inside out. So I stopped there. My eyelids were getting heavy. We were head back to the lake, and a chance encounter with the Iron Pariah. Is this it? These tree cones? Ezra helped Kate forage for mushrooms. As soon as the scene is established, I'm going to take a quick break to refill and empty. Stretch a bit. Aha, whoa, whoa. Fancy new interface. Alright, be right back. Thank you, Crazy Matt Captain, for those 100 bits with the hashtag charity. Kind of a reminder for anyone for the next, week and a bit. If you use the hashtag charity on any bit donations, then Twitch will share money with Direct Relief. Good work, Sarah. Alright. Which one of these gets me closer to moths? Moth clumps. Branch, white, underside. Cigarettes. Kate gently rolls a fallen branch and plucks something white from the underside. She holds it up for Ezra to examine. Plurosabella porogens. The common name is angel wings. Isn't that pleasant? They have a delicate, springy texture, and they're tasty like sweet moss. Would you like a bite? Sweet moss doesn't sound very tasty to me. Personally, I like to be able to tell where my food came from by flavor alone. I like to taste my surroundings, It keeps me connected to the whole thing. My mushroom hunting mentor told me it's useless to pretend to know mushrooms. They escape your erudition. The more you know them, the less sure you feel about identifying them. She taps the cover of a small red book she's carrying. That's why I always bring my favorite guidebook. Kate points to a small mushroom growing in the dirt. Oh, here's an important one to recognize, though. Look, see the sort of greenish pallor of the cap? Amanita phalloides. That's Greek. Amanita means mushroom, and phalloides means, never mind. Can you eat it? Only once. It's deadly poisonous. Oh, I can move both of these at the same time. She lit a second cigarette with the embers of the first one. She trembled, sweating a little under a heavy coat. It was warmer near the doors, but she was following directions, no smoking within 25 feet of the hospital entrance. So she stood by a hot dog cart parked at the edge of a sidewalk. Nice. Ooh, memories. That's it. Okay. Death cap. That's the common name. It's killed a lot of people, this little mushroom, including a few Roman emperors. It's a revolutionary. Haha. Even the Buddha died from eating a mushroom when he was very old. That's just what they do. Clear away old things, make room for new things. Pretty important, right? I've always thought they deserved a little more respect. Would you like to help me look for a few more? I have a sort of shopping list. Great. Look for, just grab any mushroom that catches your eye and throw them in this bag. Let me know when you're done and we'll see what you've got. Have fun! That's the second rule of mushroom hunting. First rule is ask Kate before eating anything, okay? Ezra pokes at the base of a cypress tree. Brownish clump of mushrooms feathers out from the base of the cypress tree. A few feet above, several pale blue puffs cling to the trunk. He didn't like to play in the house. It was always too cold. It seemed to store up the cold at night, then slowly discharge it into his bones during the day, while the sun bounced feebly off the windows. But he liked to play in the woods behind the house. The woods were full of deer. His dad said the deer liked best to live at the edges of forests. Recent development in the area had created a lot of fresh hedges, so they massed here, sometimes ran into the road. Examine the blue puffs. He prods one of the pale orbs with a stick, and it cracks open a little, releasing a fine dust into the air. It felt like the world outside the woods had somehow slipped away while he was gone. Now there was nothing but the woods. He kept going. Ezra carefully removes a puffball and puts it in his bag. Ezra investigates a rotting stump. The stump is ringed with overlapping shelves of mushrooms, striped brown, blue, gray, white. A caterpillar crawls along one of them. He didn't have any friends nearby. None of their new neighbors seemed to have children his age, so he played alone in the woods. Alone except for the deer. Inspect the caterpillar. The caterpillar shuffles listlessly across the mushroom, seems to be dragging several of its legs. An odd black-brown thread protrudes about 2 inches out of its head. He saw strange lights in the trees, flickering purple. He kept going. Ezra carefully picks up the caterpillar and puts it in his bag. Ezra closes his eyes and listens to the water and the distant clicking of bats. Kate kneels in the grass. She parts the grass with her garden knife, studiously combing the ground. The hot dog vendor tried to strike up a conversation with some immediately too personal questions. She decided to give him the benefit of the doubt. Maybe he considered it part of his job, she thought, to offer his customers some kind of counsel. Maybe it was to salve his guilty conscience for selling junk food outside a hospital. There are no mushrooms in the grass. Kate tries to wipe some mud off her boot. Wow, this looks like quite a haul. Let's see what you got here. He tripped on a protruding root and lay for a while in the mud, examining the pale upper branches of a sycamore tree, listening to the soft rumble of a faraway thunderstorm. Then louder, closer, and his hair stood on end, and there was the bird. Ezra hands Kate the caterpillar he found on the tree stump. Is this a caterpillar? Oh, I see. Did you get a look at the black thread coming out of its head? That's actually a fungus. Grows in the caterpillar, eats it from the inside out, and even changes the behavior a bit. They kill for these in Tibet. Didn't have much use for them in my line of work, though. Ezra hands Kate the blue puffball he took from the cypress tree. A blue puffball. Interesting. Don't think I've seen this exact species before. This one's too old to be of any use anyway. Puffballs get all dried out like this when they age, until they're so delicate that it only takes the slightest agitation. Kate gently shakes the puffball. It bursts into a cloud of spores. And the wind does the rest. See, its weakness as a survival strategy. Kind of radical, transformative weakness. Got me beat, and I didn't find a thing. So, what do your parents do for work, I mean? My dad used to sell windows. People were building a lot of new houses. They needed a lot of windows, but then they stopped building houses. My mom worked at a bakery and bar. Sometimes she would see the same people in the morning and the evening. The bakery closed and she doesn't work at the bar anymore, but she still goes there a lot to see her friends. Do you have a family? I had a baby once. Learned a lot about difficult pregnancies, at least, so now I can help other women. Basically been on my own since then. Well, that's not really true. Just about everyone who sets foot aboard the mucky mammoth feels like family to me now. Guess if nobody's family, then everybody's family. Haha. What's this island for? Looks like someone made it on purpose. Oh, right. It's kind of nice. Simple shape. Pleasantly minimal island geometry. Sure, it could be natural, though. I mean, I don't know if the island itself is man-made or not, but I guess I don't know much about this place, really. It's supposed to be some kind of memorial to something? Will would know more. Sorry, it's a mystery. Ezra kicks the dirt. Months later, she came across a book on homeopathic medicine in a used bookstore and bought it. It's a mystery. I'll search for clues. She put out her cigarette, said goodbye to the hot dog vendor, and spent the rest of the afternoon listening to doctors and trying to understand the world as they did, as a list of discrete injuries to be mended. Ezra examines a large stone monument. The monument is covered with lichen and painted text. Ezra reads the text. Rock graffiti. X+O for Eva. Ezra looks around the shore. Ezra steps on a plastic bottle. A wooden post projects from the sand nearby. Ezra examines the wooden post. Groove is worn near the top of the post. Ezra inspects the contents of his pockets. Alright, what have you got? That stone-faced monument has X+O forever painted on it. Interesting. What do you think that means? Hug and kiss forever? Or that could be initials. Xavier and Olivia forever. Xerxes and Oliver. What do you think the monument is for? I'm not sure anyone remembers. There's a pole in the ground over there. It's all scratched up. Oh, yeah. I bet people tie their boats there. Maybe somebody who takes care of the trees? Could be. Or other travelers and mushroom hunters like us. Well, Ezra, I can't say I know what that all adds up to. Like I said, I wish Will were here. He'd have some local history for us. You can ask him back on the boat. Kate and Ezra look up at the old battleship drifting by. It is a cat boat. That is a boat covered in cats, and the cats are yelling like they do. Oh, there it is. The Iron Pariah. Don't worry, it's just passing by. I don't know much about it firsthand, but I've heard things. Supposedly, there's nobody even on board. No people, I mean. There must be something on there. Life is everywhere. Rats, insects, some kinds of hardy mold. Part of it could be flooded and host some eyeless fish that live in the echo. Maybe there are some mushrooms growing in there, slowly consuming military rations from over 100 years ago. I've heard it was in the Civil War. Guess they had boats full of soldiers and supplies going up and down the Ohio River, and they fought on that river, like boat to boat with cannons or something, I guess. Machine guns. I'm no military historian, as you can probably tell. Haha. Anyway, I guess this one just got lost and somehow ended up all the way down here. Maybe it slipped into a cave up north. They're all connected underground. There's another version of the story where it didn't get lost. It was full of deserters. They came down here to hide. Maybe that's why it's called a pariah. More mysteries. They do pile up over time as people forget the details. Thanks for taking me mushroom picking. Mushroom hunting. You can pick apples because they're right out there in the open. Mushrooms hide. You have to hunt for them. Ezra's parents shook him awake. They seemed alarmed, but not immediately concerned. They led him back to the house, past the house, into the car. Dad said they were going to stay at the bus station for a while, the one with the little arcade with the card game he liked. Dad watched him closely in the rearview mirror, expecting Ezra to be excited or confused or scared, but he didn't feel anything. He hardly seemed to hear. In fact, he felt like he was observing the family car from a distance, from far above, from the clouds. Oh. Doot doot. Click, 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 click. Nope. Why even give me a choice? It's time to go. See that rough circle of rocky protrusions near the shore? It's more intricate than it looks. More than 2/3 of it is actually underwater. I haven't seen it myself, but listen to this. It's man-made, and the rocks aren't placed according to their size, so what's visible are more or less uniformly random selection of the overall shape. It looks like it might be a spiral, all told, or maybe some kind of meditative labyrinth. At the head of it is a petrified oak stump. That was moved here from above ground, of course, decades ago. That's where the ceremony took place. The Locks were married here. Many frail-tongued observers said they should go with just Lock or Luck, or split the difference and just look, or even lick, or really anything, but it was never going to happen. Billy Luck and W.H. Locke met in line at the DMV. The driver's license photographs were mixed up by the clerk, a mistake they discovered immediately but never corrected. Their engagement was welcome news for the family businesses, who had been looking forward to some opportunity to merge interests. The Locks ran a busy printing press, and the Lucks managed a fleet of bicycle couriers. The natural next step was to start a local paper, what would become the Echo River Evening Record. The ceremony itself was humble and perfunctory, and it must have somehow involved these rocks. Probably the rocks marked the boundaries between the two families, Lucks on the inner loop and Locks on the outer, or the other way around. And it must have also involved that petrified stump. Neither family is particularly religious, but rumors persist that the officiant wore a robe. Dinghy or stew? Dinghy or stew? Stew. Oh, yes. I had a few of those really big caps with the slimy gills. I shouldn't say slimy. Moist. Lady in that video called for portobello, but I prefer never to know a mushroom by name. So is this a breakfast stew? It will be, but not today. This stew is for tomorrow. It has to simmer all day. Some things are just better done slowly. I've added the anonymous mushrooms, so next we, got the recipe video on pause next door. Used to follow a recipe I learned from Ida herself, the best cook we're ever going to meet on this river. Of course, it had a few secret ingredients. She has the good sense to preserve some mystery around her cooking. Better for his business. Ida is so shrewd. She swore me not only to secrecy, but to ignorance. I had to promise to forget the recipe just as soon as I'd cooked it. Let me tell you, it's not so easy to forget something on purpose as you may think, my friend. Not so easy. Ooh, more recordings. Yes. Meaty, thick stew. Recipe! Shannon? Video. Crushed tomatoes, salsa, or even a little ketchup. Here's the thing, nobody has to know. Throw in some more of that spice blend we threw in earlier. Stir it all up and crack a beer, baby. You'll be here for a while. What did she just say to do? Will's trying to make this stew right now. She just said to add something red. Saw some maraschino cherries in there. Maybe I can help him figure it out. I got kind of sucked into this program. Yes, record the recipe. Wheel. And even that wasn't enough to convince her. So I trained rigorously in the art of forgetting, studying for months under a master amnesiac. Finally, I learned to forget so quickly and accurately that I was able to convince Ida to share with me the most obscure secrets of her kitchen. As a demonstration of my trustworthiness, I forget the names of my own parents, right there in front of her. Every time I wanted to cook this legendary stew, I'd call Ida up on the telephone and ask her for a quick temporary reminder. Here in the boat, we haven't got a video line, so I have to seek out culinary wisdom and videotapes of cooking shows. Back to the matter at hand. Next we... did you already make that spice blend? Oh, it's you. I thought... Never mind. Hello. Well, I don't know that it qualifies as a spice blend, but I spilled the salt in some of Kate's herbal tea here. Did you win anything? I have misplaced the damn ticket. I'm sure it'll turn up. Hey there! Could I ask you... Wait, why are you cooking? We're stopping at Sam and Ida's in 20 minutes. It's for tomorrow. Oh, well, just don't forget about it this time. I'm not scrubbing up any more boiled over sludge. Sorry, listen, I have a favor to ask. There's a package for the telephone exchange and I can't get the mammoth back there. Could you deliver it for us? A guy I mentioned from the TV station, Dashiell Morse, works there now. Thought you might like to chat with him anyway. Thanks a lot. I've got the dinghy all ready to go. Maybe take your friend with you. One of them can man the outboard motor, the other can aim the flashlight. It's dark. Oh. So I have to do this scene anyways. Thanks again for your help. This is about as far as tugboat can go. You know, noise and light disturb the bats. So you'll pass through the bat sanctuary, which is really nice, by the way. Be sure to check out all the plaques and stuff for cool bat facts. Plenty of time. Anyway, the Echo River Central Exchange, or, excuse me, Consolidated Auxiliary Switch number 30. They changed the name when the power company took over. Anyway, it's just on the other side of the bat sanctuary. This package is going to Poppy. She's an operator. The operator. We'll meet you on the other side at Sam and Ida's for our scheduled early breakfast stop. Just follow the river. Can't miss it. Oh, I almost forgot. You may or may not be interested. There's this kind of weird memorial sculpture on your way in, just before the bat sanctuary. I always recommend people at least stop and take a look at it. It's really sort of... I don't know how to say it. You should check it out. Okay, bye. Beep, 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 beep. Ooh, brought Blue with me. Can I? Oh, 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 ha, oh, ha. Who? That's creepy. We claim these helmets in the names of the folks who wore them, and we place them here in their memory, but also as a spit in the greedy green eye of that power company who bought our old mine and traded our brothers and sisters' safety for a little more yield, but only yielded 28 good men and women dead when the walls collapsed and the tunnels filled with water. Their lungs were black, but now they're washed clean and full of water too, then swept through hidden tunnels into some awful cave we will never find, so we guess the water buried them for us. So let this here be the markers for their grave. If any son of a bitch from that power company wants to take back these helmets as company property, just do try it and see what will happen. Hey, Elkhorn, that's the name of the mine we met in, where your folks, worked. Looks like it's been here a while. Sure as hell wouldn't mess with it. You think whoever wrote it is still that angry? Sure, angry, mainly just hurt. Yeah, everybody's got their own way, I guess. This probably stirs up. I mean, how do you... It's fine. I'm glad this is here. People should remember this happened. Well, here we are, remembering. And I didn't even know it the first time around. Here I am remembering it now. That's a fine memorial, I guess. Beep, boop, beep, boop. No light. Light on. Yeah, yeah. Yeah. What? You're looking at me like I'm crazy. Haha. Are you feeling okay? Oh, sure. It doesn't hurt anymore, my leg. It's just kind of numb. Like, it's not there. My shoulder, too, actually. Like, that's an old one, though, from an accident. I'm lucky I just had some nerve damage there. It probably should have been a lot worse. You know, those guys from the distillery are just making the best of a bad situation, just like the rest of us. Hey, one of them said to me earlier they could even help me take care of the medical bills for my leg, you know. Get it all together on a plan, consolidated. Hey, if we can find her, maybe Weaver could get you out of this thing with the distillery. She has some experience with them. Oh, sure, could be. Anyway, I have a feeling it'll all work out. Even this delivery? Yeah, we're almost there, right? Hell, at this point, I bet we could just take off the parking brake and that truck would roll and into Five Dog would drive by itself. Listen, that old truck I've been driving belonged to my boss, Ira, Lizette's husband. To be honest, Ira didn't like me very much, but somehow Liz got it into her mind that he would have wanted me to have the truck someday. Maybe to make up for all the yelling he did. Maybe so his ghost could hold it over me just one more time. One more thing to feel like I owed him for. Anyway, they got their own truck at the distillery, and now that the antique shop is closing up, I've got no use for that old truck. I was thinking you could take it. Sure, I could keep an eye on it for you until you get straightened out. Sure, okay. Sounds good. Oh. Bat facts. Visitors to the Yucca River Nomadic River Bat Artificial Hibernaculum and Sanctuary are asked to take extra precautions in order to prevent the introduction of foreign fungal contaminants to the spread of white nose syndrome. Please do not visit the sanctuary during the same day in which you visited any cave known or suspected to host bats infected with the white nose syndrome. Please do not leave your vehicle. If you must leave your vehicle, please remove shoes, clothes, jewelry, headwear, and eyeglasses to ensure you do not bring any foreign spores ashore with you. Please do not touch any bats or structures. The nomadic river bat is confused by light. If you are using a lantern or other artificial light source, be aware that it may attract or confuse bats. If you are approached by bats, do not panic. Relax, stop your vehicle, switch off your light. Never touch a bat. Never touch a bat. What's this? Yeah. Should be fine. Nope. Alright. I don't want to hurt a bat. What's this? Bat facts? Ever talk with your mouth full? Bats do it all the time. Bats talk in extremely high frequency clicks, too high for humans to hear. Then they use their powerful ears to scan for echoes of these ultrasonic clicks. By comparing very subtle differences in the time these echoes take to come back, differences of just millions of a second, bats are able to picture their environment with enough accuracy to catch a flying insect. Once a bat has caught an insect with its mouth, it's still flying, so it still needs to avoid running into anything, so bats keep clicking away, even while they munch on a tasty bug snack. Maybe poor table manners, but it's crucial for surviving in the dark. Wonder how the other bats know whether one of them is really talking or just chasing a bug. Sometimes it's hard to know with people, too. Oh, yeah, like, how about this weather? Guess there are layers to it, right? Sometimes you just need to get the other person talking so you can check their body language or hear what their voice sounds like. Find out if they're friendly, or angry, or drunk. Haha. A lot of bad activity. Bat fact. The nomadic river bat's natural diet mostly consists of moths and other small insects that breed along the river. Here at the Artificial Hibernaculum and Sanctuary, we use a combination of chemical snares and ultrasound wards to repel all potentially contaminant-bearing insects and replace them with our own locally bred and spawned hypoallergenic antiseptic pseudomoths, which we called Little Gray Nothing Moth. You may be thinking that the other moths and insects in the nomadic river bat would have been eating are very much relieved that their natural predator has found another food source. Not so. We've installed netting and highly effective moth traps along the river where the nomadic river bat normally hunts to balance their escape from the food chain. But eating moths isn't the only systemic contribution these bats make. They also produce a potent fertilizer in the form of guano that helps plant life thrive along the Yucca River and the shore of Lake Leth. In order to minimize the sanctuary's impact on subterranean agriculture, we collect the precious guano here at the hibernaculum and manually distribute it throughout the cave. It's a full-time job. Sounds like a lot of work. They eat fake moths? Yeah, hypoallergenic antiseptic pseudomoths. The little gray nothing moth. A lot of people eat fake food, right? Food taken apart and put back together so it looks and tastes like something they remember eating before, even if they never really did. Kind of bothers me. They're like tricking the bats. Yeah, in this case, I think it's about survival. I mean, if that's the bottom line, what's the difference? Like the folks in the mine, you said they used to buy stuff. Fans, canaries, all the little trinkets to make it bearable. There's still a lot of stuff down there. It feels cluttered, but human. I just mean, all people need is enough to pretend they're home. We can make it anywhere. You get kind of philosophical when you're drinking. Did anyone ever tell you that? Yeah, I guess I do. Nah, this is nothing. I used to have this drinking buddy who would get loaded and tell the weirdest damn riddles, like, which is more musical, a truck passing by a factory or a truck passing by a music school? Ha, count your blessings. Those are bats. Many, many bats that are angry at my light. More bat facts! White nose syndrome is still largely a mystery. We suspect that the white fungal growth which appears on bats' faces and wings irritates and confuses them, causing them to awaken early from hibernation and venture outside, depleting stored energy that they need to survive through winter. But biologists are nowhere near curing the disease. It spreads quickly and is highly fatal. In this way, white nose syndrome has drawn some comparisons to colony collapse disorder as suffered by bees. White nose syndrome and colony collapse disorder are sudden, violent, and mysterious. Will honeybees and the nomadic river bat be two more lost species, wiped out in a geological blink and forgotten to natural history? It's possible that a cure won't be identified in time, so the sanctity of this artificial hibernaculum is our best hope of preserving them. As you leave the Echo River Nomadic River Bat Hibernaculum and Sanctuary, please make sure your vehicle and clothing are free of hitchhikers. Lizette's sick. I mean, she's old. We're both old. Hell, you're about the youngest person I know right now. Oh, and the kid, maybe. Blue by a people calendar, but in doc years I think she has us all beat. So I'm old too, sure, and I forget stuff all the time, especially if I've had a few and my brain is swimming. But I mean, it's all going away. She's losing words you'd never think you'd lose. Not just like the streets she grew up on, but the names of colors and types of furniture, or, I mean, even the word furniture. She'd say, we've still got a few nice pieces in the, what's that what I call the shed, where we put the bigger pieces, the beds and couches, and I'd say, oh, Liz, why do you keep teasing me about that time I fell asleep in the furniture shed when it's so damn comfortable in there? I tried to help her keep some dignity, you know. That's all I had to offer at the end. She has a sister in Nashville who'll take good care of her now that I'm not around the shop all the time. What's that old guy's name? He used to make deliveries for the shop. Smells like leather. I was always yelling at him, too drunk to work on the one day he could have been in the right place at the right time. She means a lot to you. Are you worried about losing her? You know, it's inevitable at this age. People are going all the time. Friends, family, everyone. It's natural. I don't wish she'd live forever. Just that she keeps some dignity as she goes. I think that's the best we can wish for anyone we care about. Okay, I think the bats are clearing out. My plan is to stop at 5 today. I just had a delayed start due to filming. I've got other stuff to do this evening, so I need time to prep. But they should be into the new Dice Friends over at Lure. Stream hasn't started. Soon! Alright. See if I can save. Last save just now. Perfect. Then that is all for me today. Thank you all for stopping by, even those that didn't receive a notification. Twitch was having a lot of problems today, so maybe that's the fault, or just normal notification shenanigans. I'll be back on Wednesday, and not on Friday, but I will look forward to seeing you all again. Bye-bye!